I quietly carried the sleeping baby to the pool's edge and dangled him over the water. I wanted to test whether newborns could really breathe underwater like I'd heard somewhere. Mom was out in the chicken coop gathering eggs, and Dad was glued to the game on TV, completely oblivious to what we were doing. My brother and I were having the time of our lives, holding the baby by his tiny ankle, when Mom finished with the eggs and sensed something was wrong. The second she saw that little foot in our hands, she lost it. She sprinted over and snatched the baby from our grip. Thank God for her quick thinking. After some frantic first aid, the baby started wailing. Crisis averted. I tried to explain ourselves, but Mom's hand connected with my face before I could get a word out. My accomplice brother got the same treatment. Dad finally looked up from his game when he heard the commotion. Once Mom filled him in on our little experiment, his face went dark with rage. Without a word, he grabbed the Bible from my hands and hurled it to the floor. Then, right in front of us, he doused it with liquor. My brother and I weren't our parents' biological children. We were albino twins they'd adopted from a monastery orphanage. A year ago, on my parents' wedding day, blood began seeping through Mom's white dress. Dad rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. She lost the baby, and worse, the complications from the miscarriage meant she'd never conceive again. The news shattered her. To help her heal, Dad brought her to the monastery, thinking they might adopt. The austere walls and religious imagery only seemed to deepen her depression. When she saw some of the children with disabilities, she tugged at Dad's arm, ready to leave. That's when my brother and I ran up and wrapped our arms around her legs, begging her not to abandon us. Seeing our desperation, something shifted in her newly grieving heart. She took us home. The moment we arrived, the family dog erupted in barks, sending my brother and me cowering behind our new parents. Dad laughed it off, saying the dog was just greeting strangers. From then on, whenever the house was empty, I'd hang a crucifix on the front door. But one day, Mom came home early and found it. Later, while she and I were having a pillow fight, my brother suddenly killed the lights. Before Mom could react, we pulled the pillowcase over her head and held it tight, reciting scripture in the darkness. Dad heard the struggle and burst in just in time to prevent a tragedy. As we apologized to Mom, that damn dog started barking at us again. What a hateful creature. That night, after our parents fell asleep, we put on masks and laced some hot dogs with sedatives. The hungry mutt scarfed them down without hesitation and soon collapsed unconscious. My brother and I dragged the dog behind the living room couch and pulled out a sharp knife.